it's time to rank the shooters of the world. Now, obviously, I ain't ranking all 130 of these, alright? Because guess what? I haven't played all these. We're gonna rank most of these, alright? Not some of these. I will put Halo 3 in S tier, okay? Halo 2 as well. I will put that in the S tier. Halo 1's in the B tier. Here's why. Bear with me, okay? Bear with me. Combat Evolved didn't have online play. What are you gonna do? Didn't have online play. It had online on the PC. I'm kind of judging this on the Xbox One. Sorry, dog. Didn't have online play. Also, just isn't as good as Halo 2 or Halo 3. So, sorry. Doom 2016 S tier, easy. Easiest S tier of my life. Actually, okay. I'm putting it down here on A tier. Purely because I'm judging all of these games if they had a multiplayer that's got to come into play, okay? And the multiplayer for Doom 2016 is doo-doo. It's not good. It's just not. And that breaks my heart. I would love to be playing Doom 2016 for years and years, but I just ain't. It's a single player game to me. It has one of the best shooter campaigns of all time though, so it's getting an A tier. The S tier is reserved for games with amazing single player, amazing multiplayer. Counter-Strike doesn't have a single player campaign, so, but it's unmatched. Rainbow Six Siege, that's a tough one, man. I think with all its issues, it has to get an A tier. Its balance issues, its bugs, like, it is a flawed game. But that game is fantastic. It's a very fun game. A tier for sure. Titanfall 2, A tier. People often talk about the campaign of Titanfall 2 and the campaign of Doom. The multiplayer of Titanfall 2 is much better than most games, honestly. I'm just a little conflicted. This might just be nostalgia talking for me. That's the thing. I don't want nostalgia to be why games are S tier. Therefore, I'm putting it S tier. Because if it came out at a certain time, Titanfall 2 would be hailed as one of the best shooters of all time. And it is by some people. But if you're giving these games a fair shake, I don't think a lot of games do what Titanfall 2 is going for better than Titanfall 2. The unofficial sequel to Modern Warfare 2 is how I look at it. I'm looking for Call of Duty 4. There it is, baby. Call of Duty 4. Potentially one of the greatest games of all time. It's an S tier game. Easy. TF2. S tier. Easy. Now some of you might be saying, Chan, why the hell is TF2 an S tier and Counter-Strike Global Offensive is an A tier? Explain that one to me. This is personal opinion. I love TF2. It is there hasn't been a game that does it better. TF2 is just such an interesting game. Counter-Strike's cool, but I think if it had more style like TF2 does, then it would push it over the edge. Overwatch. It's either a B or a C tier for me. I think Overwatch has a lot of problems. Unfortunately, they're not technical problems. They're game design problems. And I would love to break down why Overwatch is an overrated, kind of messy game. And there's been plenty of videos on that already, so it's... I just think the balance of Overwatch and the way Blizzard has, like, handled the game, man, it's my personal opinion that Overwatch is only successful and only popular because it was made by Blizzard. Easiest S tier of my life. Modern Warfare 2. Time Splitters 2, I think, is a B tier for me because the multiplayer, the single player, all very standard but good, a lot of fun. I think it's a solid B tier game. Battlefield. Let's get this out of the way, all right? Bad Company 2. This is a tough one. I mean, okay. If it's an S tier game, then that means that it's the best Battlefield game. And I think it is. And here's why. Battlefield Bad Company 2 is like the second game to do a single player campaign, right? And it had multiplayer. And it had that like Vietnam expansion, dude. Come on. I didn't play 1942, I'm sorry, but I did play Battlefield 3. This is a tough one. I think Battlefield 3 has a lot of problems. And I know a lot of people love Battlefield 3. I mean, one of the biggest flaws is going from a campaign like Bad Company 2 to a campaign like Battlefield 3. And that's just embarrassing. You go from these fun characters, interesting level design, and just open spaces and destruction, and then you go to Battlefield 3, which is like a bad Call of Duty campaign. And I'm gonna be honest with Battlefield 4. I think Battlefield 4, it had a ton of problems at launch. It wasn't a good Battlefield game until like 6 months to a year afterwards. Again, like the single player, like, I mean, I didn't even bother playing it. It's got some issues. It's not a super polished game, and I think that's what will always keep it in B tier for me. Battlefield 1. Is it a B tier or is it a C tier game? I think it's a C tier game. It continues the trend of having terrible single player campaign. The multiplayer was somehow faster than previous Battlefield games. That's what really bothered me about this. Battlefield 1, you tell people, hey, they're making a World War I Battlefield game. So we're going to be fighting in the trenches with bolt-action rifles. No, you're going to be sprinting around the city streets with SMGs. What? God, it's a weird game. Battlefield 5. This is a really tough one. This is really tough, really controversial as well. I think Battlefield 5 is the best gameplay out of all the Battlefield games. Battlefield Bad Company 2, 3, 4, 1. However, the updates have been, I mean, they just added the first new map today in like 6 months. Ugh. Everything except for the gameplay is just like not done properly. It is a B tier game. It will stay that way. Bioshock. Some people would put it in S tier. Some people would put it in C tier. God, it's so tough. You gotta compare it to Bioshock Infinite. I was much more grabbed by Infinite. I think it's an overrated game. Surely. It's one of those like, oh, people are like, oh my god, have you played Bioshock Infinite? It's so incredible. It's a really good game, but don't tell people that's like the greatest thing ever. You could easily switch these and I wouldn't be upset. No, I'm doing it. I'm doing this to bring it down a peg. He can't keep getting away with this. the original Bioshock is like, it's a killer game. Bioshock 2. It's a C tier. It's a good game. What I really didn't like about it though was how much crap you had to pick up. Like this game, you had to pick up so much stuff. You had fuel for your damn drill thing. You had all this stuff. I just remember playing Bioshock 2 and being annoyed. All right, Far Cry. Far Cry 3. I think it's a good game. I think it's a really good game. I think especially for the time, it was a good game. Would it hold up in a court of law though? I don't know. I mean, I'm feeling like Far Cry 3 is a B tier game, purely based on its laurels, purely based on the time it came out. I think you have to factor in when these games came out, unless you say, if you're playing these games right now, if you're just gonna start up this game and compare it purely based on how much you enjoy playing the game in that moment. But even then, you have like nostalgia and stuff like that. Like I would have a fantastic time playing Modern Warfare 2, but if I had never played Modern Warfare 2 before, like, would I like it? I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. There's too many games. Far Cry 4. I think Far Cry 4 is a C tier game, considering it came out after Far Cry 3, right? And it was basically the same game. But I think we've found it, folks. Far Cry 5. Our first D tier game. Not a bad game. Maybe even better than Far Cry 4. I almost want to put Far Cry 4 in the D tier, and I think I will. Half-Life 2. Boop. Half-Life 2 is an S tier game, alright? If you think otherwise, get the hell out of here, alright? Man, Half-Life 2 is just... There's few games that are as influential and have changed the gaming landscape than... I'm just going to say Half-Life in general. Battlefront and Battlefront 2. I'm just going to rate them as one game because they're basically the same game. I know a lot of people would say, like, based on nostalgia, like, it's an A tier and S tier game. I think I'm judging the games fairly, like comparing it to Bioshock Infinite and like Halo. It's a B tier game. Left 4 Dead. Okay, I'm gonna do the same with Left 4 Dead. I'm just gonna go Left 4 Dead 2 because it has all the Left 4 Dead 1 content in it. Left 4 Dead 2 is an A tier game, almost purely because it is the best zombie killing game, bar none. If you want to kill zombies and feel that warm fuzzy feeling in your heart and just have that tingly feeling in your at the tips of your hairs, Left 4 Dead 2 is that game. You can slice zombies' limbs off with fire axes and katanas, and it just feels so good. Portal 1 and Portal 2. I'm gonna take Portal 2 up here. Portal 1 is an A tier game, okay? Call of Duty Black Ops. It's got a good single player. It's interesting. It's not perfect. It's got a great multiplayer. Black Ops 3, that's tough, man. I like Black Ops 3, but I think the map design and the balance of the game is just a bit funky. I think it's on the C tier. Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 is A tier. Some people say it's the best Call of Duty. They're wrong. They're wrong. They're very, very wrong. Black Ops 2 is standing on the shoulders of the shoulders of the shoulders of its grandfather. Call of Duty 4. Modern Warfare 3. It's a B tier. Modern Warfare 2 was so incredible, and Modern Warfare 3 was basically like, yeah, that was a good game. Modern Warfare 1 to 2 was like, yo, this is, okay, we're keeping this train rolling, baby. Like, this thing is, we're going places, alright? Call of Duty. And then Modern Warfare 3 was basically like Modern Warfare 2. It was like, okay, cool, I guess. And then they continued with Call of Duty Ghosts, which is basically just Modern Warfare 4. But I didn't really play that, so I'm not gonna judge. Halo Reach. Halo Reach is an A-tier game. It's a great game. It just continued like the Halo 3 like Forge thing to the extreme. It was like, yo, now you can just like make maps now. Halo 4, it's a B tier game. I think 343 did a good job picking up the mantle of Halo and keeping it rolling. I think Halo 4 is underrated by a lot of people. I think it's only a step below Halo Reach. Okay, here we go. Black Ops 4. It's a C tier. The blackout mode was like impressive for what it was, but at the same time, it hasn't been updated very well. I'm just kind of disappointed with Black Ops 4. This is coming from someone who put way too much time into Black Ops 4. I got to like 4th or 5th prestige. It's a C tier game. I think I'm pretty happy with my S tier games. Should I take the Portal games off just to make this list a bit more clean? Because those are like puzzle games. Those are like first-person puzzle games. I think I'm going to take them off. I think everyone knows what's good with Portal. The B tier is pretty long. But that's to be expected, you know. The S tier is also fairly stacked. Should I take one of the S tier games off? I think personally, no. I don't think so. I think this is a good list.